Hey there, my name is Joshua Migade and this is the Kinetics typography template. I'm really thankful and I'm really happy that you were able to get it. So let's not waste any more time and let's dive right into it. Immediately you finish downloading this project, you'll find the folder in your downloads. That folder will be called Kinetics, Kinetic Typography. In that folder, you'll find 3 project files. There will be one without a number and 2 with numbers. The one without the numbers works with version After Effects 2022 because it's the After Effects version I used when working on this entire project. And then 18 and 17 correspond with the versions of After Effects that come before that. 17 comes from version 2020 and then version 18 you see over there is for 2021, After Effects 2021. So immediately you finish, depending on the version you have, if you have version 2022, use the last one. If you have version 2021, use the second last one, which is Kinetics Kinetic Typography 18X, and then version 17, which is 2020 specifically. All right, when you open up After Effects and open up the project file, this is the first thing you'll see. And in it, I have my timeline with the current open composition being showcase. In this timeline, I have 26 compositions, starting from slit scan all the way to bounce. Bounce all the way to slit scan, depending on the order. I normally go down up. So, on my left, I have assets, compositions, dits. When I open up assets, assets is where I have every single composition that's inside the actual titles here, inside one of the 26. And then when I open up compositions, that's where all the 26 are. I can open any one of them that's over here. Let's choose Kinetics, which is called Echo 2. I can come and open up Echo 2 from there and I'll still be able to see it. I can do the same thing by just coming and clicking here on Kinetics Echo 2 and I open it up. I can do the same thing with any of them. I can choose to open up border. I open up border just by double clicking it. In this showcase, it has all the compositions, so you can easily choose whichever you want just by scrubbing through, and you choose the one you want. You're like, oh, I want to use this one, the round one. I double tap it and it will immediately open up, and I can edit my text, edit anything however I want. If I go back to showcase, all the changes I would have made on the other side will appear here. But I would love to start with clear time warp scan effect, which is called slit scan. If I open up slit scan, I'm going to have 2 compositions. There are actually 3 compositions. The other one is hidden because you don't really want to edit it or you don't really want it to be seen. If you want it to be seen, that's how it's going to look like. It's just a gradient effect giving us a time warp effect that is on this composition. How to check for your effects? You come all the way here and you click effects. The effect I'm using is called a time displacement. If I want to add any other effect here, like let me say a blur, I'll come all the way to here, effects and presets, and I'll search blur. I'm going to search first box blur and then I drag it into that place. After doing that, I can do whatever I want. I can make it really blurry or I can actually remove the blur. I don't really need the blur, so we are going to remove the blur. That's how you add effect in After Effects. Come to effects and presets, search for the effect you want, drag it into that place. After selecting the composition you actually want to work on, drag the effect there and change the effect as much as you want. So with this composition, we have dits and edit this comp too. I'm going to hide this layer again. When I open up edit this comp too, I'm going to have other pre-comps that I actually made into this composition. But in order to edit one of them, this is just giving me that kind of blurry movement, which will later be enhanced by the time slit scan, time displacement. In order to edit the effect, I'll just come and click edit. And I'll choose a favorable spot, one that has all the text there, and I'll edit this one. I'll say dollar. And it says dollar time warp. If I go back in my composition originally, which was slit scan, the text would have changed from clearer to duller, which is a really easy thing to do. All you need to do is open the composition, choose any one of these. In this exact example, choose any one of them. It will still lead you to this same one. Choose a favorable spot and then edit the text as much as you want for any one of the 3 layers. If I go back to slit scan, the other thing I have are text dits, and text dits are the random letters, text, numbers, boxes that you actually have there. In order for me to edit them again, I can double click on that and it will open up this other composition. If I open this composition, I'm going to see that the numbers are moving over there. I'm going to have this box kind of animation fill there, and I can edit all this text as much as I want. I can change director to artist. You know, I can make that caps. All I can do is either type it again in caps, in caps format, caps lock, with caps lock on, or I'll just come and click in this space under the character tab, and I click all caps. It immediately changes it to caps. And so instead of typing an entire word or sentence again in capital letters or in small letters, in uppercase or in lowercase letters, all I can do is come and click that. It will change it from lowercase to caps. Right, so I'm just going to go back and make sure it was exactly the way I found it, director. And I can do the same. I can put that logo here, the logo of whichever company I'm using, or my own name, title, or the title of the video I'm working on, which will already be here. But if you want, you can do it. Here are other random things you can put. Here says this is the edge of the screen. I think you get the idea, right? So if I go back to showcase, as I said, I can choose any other layer and I will still be able to open it. I can choose text, and I can still edit it. In text, which is typography, I actually have grid, which is part of the dits. I can remove dits, grid, and I can edit whichever comp. Again, it's the same comp, the only difference is it's reversed. If you see those kind of meshy kind of thing at the bottom, just know that layer is currently reversed in this scenario. When I open it up, I can change the text. I can change this text to blues. Alright, but the issue is that this text changed by itself. All the others keep saying text instead of blues. What I do is that I'll come and edit this and I'll type in again blues in uppercase, and I'll just copy that, copy Command A or Control A if you're on Windows, Command A, and I'll come and paste it on every other layer like that. And then afterwards, all your text would have changed. So it will start with something really beautiful like that and slide all the way out. Then after editing the text, I go back directly into my composition, which was typography, and I would have seen that the text has actually changed. Same with that. I can still do the same thing. If I want more details in it, I can add details. I like having the grid on that. Makes it have a little more information in it, and then everything is good. So I can do that to every other layer, you know, but this time around, let's choose a composition that has more in it, like kind of a 3D kind of feel in it, whereby I'm going to start with this composition over here. It's called inside. If I open inside, it's kind of that kind of tunnel kind of feel, keeps sliding inwards, and I have 2 other compositions in it, but you don't really want to use those again, so I have them hidden. I open this, edit this comp, just the name, you see it like that. And then to edit my text, I can't edit my text from this exact composition. That's why I have text 101, 1.1. If I open text 1.1, I'm going to have my text. Sorry for repeating text many times, but that's how I named it. So I can change it from in over my head to any other text I want. I can say out, in and out of my head, and out. And I'll come here and I'll just add this down here and I'll say of my head. So immediately I finish changing that, I'll come all the way to the composition, which was edit this comp, and I'll see all my text. Every single text there has changed to in and out of my head. If I go back to my composition, it would have done the exact same thing, whereby in the tunnel kind of fill, I'm having the in and out of my head, and it will keep zooming in all the way until the end. So another really difficult composition I would love to talk about is falling. Falling is one of the complex compositions I think in this entire project, because it seems easy, but it's kind of difficult, because I did use a mask. Depending on the text that you'll be having, you have to edit this mask as much as possible. So again, I have the text on top called falling. I can change it to anything I want, as we've seen in earlier situations. But in this case, I'm going to open up edit this composition. When I open edit this text composition, I'm going to have two layers. I'm going to have falling, which is the normal text, and falling, which is the other normal text. But for it, the difference is that it's a stroke and it has two effects on it. It has echo and echo 3. It actually has 3, the other one is deactivated. That's why there's no effects there. You just tap on it and it will look something like that. Then you tap on it again to turn it off. So I can edit this text as much as I want. I can change, starting with this one, I can change it to Black Widow. I can do the same thing for this other text. Because it's a stroke, I can just copy and paste. I'll say Black Widow. When I do that, immediately I finish doing that, I go back into my original composition, falling, and I have to change this text on top because it's kind of covering that edgy kind of feel over there, that fade, and I'll change it also to Black Widow. After changing it to Black Widow, I'll have that kind of falling effect on it. And then this exact layer has a mask. The edit this composition has a mask. So depending on how long your text is, you'll have to shift this mask. But in most scenarios, most cases, you're not going to need to shift the mask as much as possible. Unless you need to, then you can shift it and see whether it works for you or not. Okay? So if I go back to showcase, what I did there, I press tab and it's taking me all the way back to showcase. I can do all this for any other composition I want. Alright, there's some compositions that are going to have cameras in them. One of the compositions having cameras is called 3D cube effect. So if I open up 3D cube effect, it's going to have this kind of 3D text which rotates, showing every single dimension. It has a camera over there. The crosses are part of the dits, so I'll just turn them off. And I'll open up text. If I open up text, I'm actually getting a flat version of what I saw here earlier. The kind of 3D thing, I'm getting a flat version of it. So I can change this text as much as I want, and it will come and show up in the exact same shape as you see there. So as you can see, I have directed by Joshua Migade, and it's showing over there. If I come somewhere here, you see the text directed by Joshua Migade, just exactly how you see it here. So whatever change you make will actually reflect back this side in your 3D kind of feel. So whoever wants to use this kind of effect, kind of template, kind of title, you can use it however you want. You can make this change just by clicking text, and you change. These shape layers were just kind of like make your text a bit duller for those who want a really cool 3D effect. So if I go back here, you see the text is a bit duller, but you don't really need that most times. So basically, almost every single text here can be edited, starting from whatever you see in this first composition. Starting from whatever you see here, there's that looks blank, but it's actually really easy. If I open, it's called buy tickets. If I open buy tickets up, it looks something like that. You know, here I have text, and it will be really easy to edit the text. I just copy the text all through and paste it. It's the same text. I can change it to anything I want. And then here it comes over like kind of motion tile. Same effect I used here, motion tile, same text, but keeps on moving with the flicker kind of effect. So basically in this Kinetics typography project, all the text is easily editable. Something you've had me talk about a lot in this exact tutorial has been something called dits. I've been calling them dits, like text dits over there. When I open up dits over here, I'm going to find seven of them, and I can put whichever one I want. I can remove text dits and I can put travel line. If I put travel line, it's going to look something like that kind of line, and I can duplicate it and rotate it, and I say 180 degrees. If I say 180, it's going to be double, and it's going to go all the way like that to be as beautiful as that. You can do anything you want with this. Just throw them on any layer, throw them in any composition, and it will look nice. With incredibly small text, if I put it there, it's going to be something like that. All I do is I drag it all the way down, however I want. I can make it really smaller and say make it that small, and I can duplicate it if I want to. That's how it looks like. If you want to, you could edit the text. Wouldn't want to do that really. And if I want to, I can edit the text and I can duplicate it again and send it all the way up. So it just makes it feel like I have more content on this. Same with the +4. If I have +4 over there, I'm just going to have 4 pluses. That's why it's called +4. There are 4 pluses over there. And it's just going to add a little more content into my video. Just make note for it to be too plain. And yes, so if I want to export one of the compositions I've been working on, I'm going to go all the way to compositions, pre-render. When I click pre-render, it's going to open up my render queue. And my render queue, that's where the queue is. And in my queue right now, the first thing I have is actually circle. If I open up circle, if I double click it, it will actually take me back to the composition circle, but I want to stay in my render queue. If I want to change my format, After Effects supports different formats. Currently, it's going to be using Apple ProRes 444, or on other versions, it may use animation. Okay, so I like using Apple ProRes 4444 and Apple ProRes 444XQ because they give me the transparency part of it. If I want to check my transparency, I will go all the way back into my composition and I'll click that toggle button over there, toggle transparency grid. And if it shows that kind of white box thing, then I'll know it's actually transparent. If it doesn't, let's say we have a different solid under there or a different background, or you put a video there, it won't turn white and gray no matter how much you press this until you actually remove that layer. So if I remove this layer, it will go back to being transparent. So if I'm dealing with transparent kind of titles, let me say I want to move my title into Premiere, but in Premiere I already have a video where the title is going to sit. I'll just export this as one of the options we'll see over here. So as far as I know, the options that do support other transparent kind of version is Apple ProRes 4444XQ, 44444, animation, because those are ones I mainly use. The other ones I rarely use them, I've barely used them, so I'm not really sure. But I would say, and I'm safe to say this, that Apple ProRes 4444XQ, Apple ProRes 4444, and animation do support transparency. So I'll use Apple ProRes 4444. If I click that and I press OK, it's going to bring me back to the original menu which I got after clicking QuickTime over here, output module. So if I want to have transparency, I have to make sure that this part is showing RGB plus alpha. It has options. It has RGB, whereby it will render the transparent part as black and then whatever text and your color. If I have alpha, it will do the opposite. It will remove all the text and only render the transparency part of it. But if I click both, it's going to render both the text and the transparency, so you'll be able to get a transparent file. So after clicking RGB and alpha, I can detect where I'm going to export my video to if I want to export it to a specific folder. If I click here, I'll be able to come into whichever part I want. Like if Windows, you can choose, and then Mac OS, I'm going to specifically choose downloads and I'm going to export it there. So I click save and then I'll come over here and click render. So after exporting my video in the format I wanted, I can open it in get the video and put it in a different software. So currently I use Davinci Resolve. When I open up Davinci Resolve, I can import my video from wherever I wanted to put it. So I had exported it to my downloads. So if I get it downloads over there, it's MOV and it's transparent. If you use Apple ProRes, you'll be able to see that it's actually transparent. If you use animation, you have to move it into a software that will be able to decode it for you. If you use animation, you can't actually preview the video. So I'm going to put it into all the way into my clips bin, my clips pool. I come all the way to my edit page and I'll drag it into my timeline. So if I wanted to have another, let me say picture, another video that I want to have into this at the back, I'll put it just under here and you'll see how transparent it will look. So let me just find something and let's put it. So if I get like a gradient, which I really wanted it to be my background, I'll just drag it also. This is also an image, but you can use a video. I'll just drag it there and you're going to see exactly what happens. All the black that was there has been replaced because it was a transparent kind of file. Okay, so if I deactivate this, it's going to be something like that. And if I deactivate that, it will be blank. If I turn it on, you see those are different kind of layers. And then I turn this back on again, I'm having my text and it will move as round and round and round as possible. So that's how I can use my titles into any other software. Export in a version either that supports transparency if you need transparency. If you don't need transparency, export in Apple ProRes 422, or you can take it into media encoder and then change it into MP4. After changing it into MP4, get it into your other software, which is Premiere or Resolve. Currently I'm using Davinci Resolve. After using that, I will continue editing and add whatever clips I want and export the entire video, which you can actually give either put on your YouTube page, Instagram, social media, or give it to a client if you are working on a client project. So I would really love to say thank you so much for passing through these tutorials. See you next time.